When guys get Darce chokes off, like Dustin Poirier and those guys, they'll attack it from a front headlock, right? And they throw it in as they're rolling. So their opponent doesn't generally understand what's happening because it's tricky. This wasn't tricky.
No.
This was you getting with your partner and learning to do a Darce. Not bad on T. Wood's part. He did the exact right thing. It was Darren Till's recognition of the move and where they were going that kind of took me by surprise. He never reacted. He never
didn't
responded.
see it coming.
Which is crazy because when you go deep half guard, underhook, deep half guard, underhook, cross leg, you got to know guy can either elbow you or he can go Darce choke. That's the only thing. He wasn't going to sweep Tyron. He wasn't going to deep half roll Tyron across the back. His base is too strong. So he needed to get his hip off the ground. Even when he was getting ground and pounded, we talked about him having the underhook and just laying on his side. You got to get up on an elbow. There were a few things that he did on his back that are very worrisome, especially if he somehow gets matched up with a guy like Usman.
Yes. I mean, Darren Till takes a hard shot, obviously.
Darren Till threw one shot.
Yep.
When he finally decided to go, I've always hated this combination. I mean, the only person I think should ever throw a lead uppercut, hand punch down the middle is Conor McGregor. He's the only person that's successfully done that time and time again. Conor goes uppercut, straight left hand. Everybody else, stop. I mean, I'm serious. Yeah. Everybody else, stop. Chuck Liddell almost got killed against Rashad Evans doing that.
Yeah.
He literally almost died. And then look what happened to Darren Till.
Yeah.
You cannot throw that. It's a flawed technique because when you do this and you're loading that counter hand, when you're loading that second punch, you're so exposed.
I missed the whole fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never had an easy fight in my life. You fight that kid. I wouldn't take one. I would take. It's like, stop making bullshit fights with this guy.
One name you didn't mention a minute ago, you went through a whole list of them, was Georges St. Pierre. It's a big opportunity, I guess, to prove that you are the best welterweight of all time, but the fight with him, is that something that appeals to you?
I mean, it's always appealed to me, but I'm not going to keep calling out a guy that has already had 9 title defenses, ran over the division. He stepped away from the sport. He came back. He made it very obvious that he wanted to fight certain types of fights, and it didn't look like he wanted to fight me. So at one point, I thought I needed to be him to be the greatest because, who's going to say he's not the greatest welterweight of all time? You know, he beat the best welterweights in the world. It wasn't like he was just running through, guys that was horrible. He was beating studs after stud after stud. I watched him do that for so long, and I always envisioned him fighting him. I always envisioned beating him. And I told myself that I had to beat him to be the greatest, but I don't. This sport is different. These guys are better. They're more well-rounded. They punch harder. They're faster. And they've been training at a younger age. It's not the wrestler they just learned how to punch. Everybody can do everything now. So I think the fact that I've been able to beat the last specialist in the game, beat the up-and-coming rising star, beat Robbie Lawler, who's one of the most vicious fighters we've ever seen, with two title fights that I think are probably in the top 10 of title fights of all times. It don't take much more for me to solidify that pot. But if he wants to fight me, of course I'm going to fight Georges St. Pierre. I just don't really think he has to. I don't think he has any interest in it, and I'm kind of over it at this point.
Tyron, you mentioned watching film with Dean. And was that lead uppercut something that you saw as an opening?
Did I hit him with lead uppercut?
He threw in lead uppercut.
I saw him do a lot of lead uppercuts in the countdown. That's why I try not to give nothing in the countdown, because I'm like, he threw a whole bunch of straight left lead uppercuts. I think he's trying to catch me, because if you punch offline, you put yourself right in position for a lead uppercut. So what we did was a lot of parrying. Dude kept saying, be relaxed, have swag out there, hand fight, hand fight. And you saw a couple times where I just grabbed his wrist and grabbed his hand. We actually prepared a nasty little counter to the rear uppercut. That's what he was jumping in with, a lot of jumping rear uppercut. So when he threw that lead uppercut, you just see me kind of take my head offline so I can throw the punch, because I was assuming the left hand was going to come next. But before he can get the left hand off, I had already landed the right. So
How does it feel to have been the guy to knock off Demetrius Johnson now that you've had a few weeks to set in?
Oh God, I'm in the history book, not just for the sport of mixed martial arts, but in sports. I mean, he's a man that, the man, the myth, the legend, like the guy that knocked me out, the first time we fought, that defeated me, to avenging it and beating the pound for pound best fighter in the world and becoming probably one of the greatest combat athletes of all time, Olympic champ and UFC champ. To me, it's just a testimony of my hard work, my dedication, and my self-belief, and obviously I got a great team behind me.
What is next for Henry Cejudo?
What's next? What's next for me is I want TJ Dillashaw. They've always talked about DJ and TJ, and I think that's enough. I think I dethrone Demetrius Johnson. Now who I want TJ Dillashaw, and I want his head on a plate.
What has the UFC told you about the likelihood of getting that shot at TJ as opposed to maybe a DJ or someone else?
They like it. The UFC likes it. TJ likes it. I like it. It's just a matter of negotiations. That's it. So it's about not talking about a super fight. It's about making that super fight happen. And I believe that I could become a triple champ. I really do. And I'm going to make an example of TJ Dillashaw.
So how close are we potentially to that fight actually being pen to paper made official?
It's to be announced. You're gonna have to talk to Uncle Dana White.
Was there anything about Tyron that surprised you? It seemed that he was maybe a little bit faster than you or had the timing.
Yeah, but I knew that. This is the thing. I just knew that in the first and the second, I knew he was going to be on edge. I knew he was going to be, I don't know if he'd admit it or what, I knew he was scared of me. I knew he was scared. He knows I've got power. He knows I'm a big guy. So I knew he was trying different things. He couldn't take me down. He was squeezing me up against the fence with so much strength, and he wasn't stronger than me. There's no way he was stronger than me. I could feel that. He was trying to trip me, and I was just in, like, I don't know, I was just in motion just in the first, and then the start of the second, I was like letting him do his thing, because I knew that I was going to start doing my thing. As I say, I just should have warmed up backstage better. There's no excuse, obviously, but I should just start a bit more aggression. Maybe I should have been more aggressive in the first. I'm always a calm, relaxed fighter in the first. I like to see what the other guy's going to do. And he was throwing power shots, and I was just putting my guard up and shaking my head. I was like, you're not hitting me. And he knew he wasn't. I threw one left and he shook his head, but it was just like, wasn't, I put nothing behind it. I just wish I could have got to the third and I could have started opening up on him and seeing what was happening, but I just got sloppy with that. I dropped my guard on that uppercut. I remember it perfectly. I dropped my guard and he come over with the right. He does it a lot and he got me with it.
What does the next kind of, 3-6 months look like for you? Do you want to take some time out?
I don't know. I don't really know what that means. Like, I could say, yeah, I could say no. Obviously, I've got a kid on the way. I've got, obviously that deserves a lot of attention. As much as I say it doesn't, and I don't care, I do really care. I want to take a trip to Brazil for maybe just 1 week just to see me daughter. I need that in my life. So, if I can fit all that in quick now and just keep on training, hopefully fight again soon. I don't know. Just let the other guys in line now fight for the belt and, let them have their shot. It just pisses me off so much that, Woodley beat me. It just pisses me off so much.
It has been a little difficult, and all of this happened within 10, 11 days before the fight with Craig. And me being a team captain and the real true OG, the one that started this, before Cowboy was ever around. I heard in an interview, Cowboy say, yeah, Diego left. Yeah, I left for 2 years. But when I left, I said I had a meeting with Greg. I sat down with him, but I never ever talked bad about him. I never ever said nothing in the public. It was just a meeting, and it hurt to leave. But with the whole Cowboy thing, I just was hurt because my coaches, and Winklejohn and Chad Smith, are solid stand-up guys, and that's why they're in my corner. But at this point, Cowboy's got to fight Perry. It's gonna go down. I'm gonna watch, and I'm gonna help Perry train, be that good wisdom motivator for him, because he's a little bit on the wild side. He needs a little bit of, someone that was on the wild side, that realized, the wild side, only gonna crash and burn eventually if you live on that wild side for too long. So, I'm looking to be that good influence in his life and help him get ready for his fight with Cowboy.
TV.